Welcome back to SL Chennai Speaks Out. We've been talking about problems, we've been pointing the blame at the bosses, we're talking about various weaknesses of employees. So to you, career customization plan is something we've heard of in the West, where an employee is given the option to either accelerate his or her career or slow it down. Do you think this could be a possible solution in the Indian context, given the spurt and burnout cases here?
Oh, most definitely, because in optionalization of resources, when we are looking at any of our companies, we are all looking at what is the core strength of a person. We are looking at core competence. I mean, if you're looking at, and basically we are more discussing about information technology really, and when you talk about corporate burnout. But the fact is that there is a core competence, and if we need to develop it, we need to challenge the world, we need to get on top of it, we have to ensure that every Indian does that job which is best suited at.
We talk of value addition. A lot of the common accusation against employees is that they don't upgrade their skills. But we've also found that many employees want to actually do value addition to their careers, go abroad, do a master's program in business administration, for instance. They have to go on a sabbatical. And there are many companies, correct me if I'm wrong, which actually frown upon this because they say, no, we can't. If you want to go and leave for more than a year, then resign and go. So then the employee is in a quandary. Should he give up? A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush then?
I think it's a very fair question, Sanjay. I think good companies today are seeing good employees saying, okay, you want to go upgrade your skills, come back, there's always room. In fact, they encourage them, come back and consider us your first option. And some of them even will talk about partial reimbursement of tuition and things like that. So
Sponsor.
it's something which a lot of services companies are doing in the West and also in India. It's a trend we are seeing.
Okay, I want to ask the audience, how many of you, in fact, consider ESOPs as an entrapment? Because there is a lock-in period. So when a company gives ESOPs to its employees, yes, you're thrilled about it. Of course, now there's fringe benefit tax and all that, but still, it's still an incentive. For 4 years, you can't leave the company. Otherwise, you will not get the remaining ESOPs because it comes in installments. Do you believe it's entrapment? It's a trap that's set for you?
Of course, I think this is a better chance for them to have the employee with them at least for 4 years. They'll have that they don't need a replacement for that person. So that is the reason they are giving it in installments. Otherwise, they would give it, once the person joins, they can give it, and after that, they can say if they have a trust, you stay with that for 4 years or so.
So anything wrong with calibrated encouragement?
No, I mean, I'd just like to comment on this ESOP business. I think anyone who's staying on in a company only because of ESOP really needs to go and visit the doctor.
Okay.
Honestly. Because, I think the best companies are the ones where people have worked for generations and where people have, the normal tenure of a person employee would be about 8 to 10 years, are not necessarily the ones who are paying the highest amount of money.
Okay, what makes them stay?
Oh, it's culture. As I said, the fact of belonging to a family, the fact that somebody cares for you, somebody listens to you.
Not the Hari Sadhu. How many of you keep nicknames for your bosses? We've seen the Hari Sadhu advertisement. H for Hitler, A for arrogant, and all that. How many of you have kept nicknames for your bosses? Be honest. You don't have to give us the nicknames, but tell. Okay, only 2 people have kept nicknames for bosses. Okay, now 2 hands and okay. All right.
It holds with everybody. Not
Everybody has kept a nickname for a boss.
2 and 3 are giving the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my teammate to say, open up his mouth.
Yeah, pass the mic to him. He wants you to open your mouth and support him.
Manager will say, I could just say only one thing. I call him only Tala, that's it.
What do you call him, sorry?
Tala.
Oh, Tala, okay. Head. Tala as in Tamil word head.
I have one more thing, but I can't enter into company tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right, see, and then there you said. Doctor, why can't, there's this fear people keep nicknames. You have the Hari Sadhu ad. Why is that bosses do not conduct themselves in a manner that actually makes employees look up to them as role models?
Absolutely. See, that family feeling you're talking about, people staying on in a company.
No, but can you run a company like a family? That's another thing.
No, that's not the idea. But the boss is involved, he's sensitive, he's able to look around, see what's happening, and the boss and his team basically is able to understand what's happening to the workforce. Then people stay on with the boss.
Do you believe you're a role model, sir? Or are you feared? Are you loved or feared in your company?
Well, I think at some moments I'm loved and at some moments I'm terribly feared.
That's fine. That's fine. That's how a boss should be.
If I'm loved all the time, then I think it'll be difficult. And I'm feared all the time, then also it'll be difficult.
People transfer, we're talking about taking work home, but also people bring in home stress to the workplace. Now, a lot of, in fact, working women today have little children to take care of. Children fall sick. do companies, how important is it for companies to actually be considerate? Are they, in your experience, are companies considerate to working women?
Work-life balance, I think, is very critical, and especially for a woman. And I think being a woman, I think for me, I would say like the most important is meaningfulness in work, rather than competing for something, and because it's very difficult. So biologically, like we need to give birth, we have so many other things to do. So it is important. So I think as long as I think a woman finds work meaningful, I think like it's good to work, and even you can catch up. There's always this peer pressure, you lose 2 years in between kind of a thing if you have childbirth and all that. So it's part of reality, and we need to accept that and look for meaningfulness in my view.
Yes, ma'am.
The concept of family in an organization, because the girl then when she wants some maternity leave for 3 to 4 months, then she was not given, and they immediately go for a replacement, and she's been sent out of the project. So all these things.
Replacement as in she's fired, or it's a stopgap arrangement?
Yeah, like they just sent out the project and they wanted an immediate replacement, and procedures has to be carried out.
They've very unethical, right? I mean, to treat somebody who goes on maternity leave like that.
Absolutely. Completely.
But is this? Do you believe that this is just an exception? I mean, is this a stray incident?
I don't think good companies do that.
Okay, most companies wouldn't do that. Yes, sir.
I have a point over here. Years back, I mean, maybe a decade ago, it was seen natural that a person joined a company and he would retire from that company. Today, it's a fashion, to just join a company, be there for a couple of
10 jobs
years,
if you look at,
and then just keep.
If you look at your Facebook profile itself, you will find present employer, previous employer. I mean,
exactly.
It's a template almost
the
today.
The thing is, it's like either the peer pressure. I don't think it's just that it's a bad company or a good company.
Since you're talking of peer pressure, what do you feel about peer pressure, jealousy, also office gossip? Office gossip, a lot of employees waste a lot of time in gossiping.
Certainly that happens, but that's where the culture of the company or the culture of the organization, takes
Is there any company where you don't have office gossip?
Every company has office gossip, Sanjay. But the point is, how transparent the company is going to be, with the employee at that point of time. And the key point which I'm trying to make over here is, today's generation, is looking at a faster career growth, more money. In maybe 20 years, they want to double, triple, or maybe even quadruple their salaries. Bigger houses, bigger cars, which was not the case 10 years ago.
My question to her is, even you have examined something like there are managers who are there for 10 years and 12 years in the same company. When they go to a consultant, they say, "Hey, 10 years in the same company. What is your problem there?"
Oh. As in, it's actually a flaw that you have been in 10 years for the same. You're not a Rolling Stone.
What's wrong with you? Why was there for the past 10 years there?
Is that viewed as Latha? Is that viewed as stagnation?
Not really, but I think today loyalty to a job and not loyalty to an organization is something like everybody is talking about.
No, that's a very interesting question. I mean, when you're recruiting thousands of people.
Yeah.
When you see somebody serving in one particular company for 10 years, is that a strength or a weakness?
It's definitely a strength.
A strength.
Okay, but yeah,
it's not as if he's not got other options.
If you have stagnated for 10 years, if you have not grown in those 10 years, then of course it's.
How would you define stagnation in this
you can find out from the way he is, whether he's moved up the ladder.
But moving up the ladder is not necessarily linked to performance. We've seen that some of them have said.
What kind of response?
ESOP where we are given 4 years first, then another 6 years, so he's been stable there. He cannot come out of it. And whatever it is, he's there.
That's what I think Vivek said earlier. Like
please
ESOP
Okay.
As long as you grow with the organization, doesn't matter, I guess. Because I've been with the company for 7 years. Now, as long as I grow with an organization, it doesn't matter.
Yes, sir.
So it is not the ESOP alone. It makes you to tied up with that company. Yeah? In my earlier company, just because of some 40 days, I lost my ESOP. So it is, I taken a decision to move away from that company.
It's not that
only that. Left and a half, even though if you had stayed on for 40 more days, you would have got those ESOPs.
I would have stayed on 40 more days, I would have got my ESOPs.
People delegate work. Sometimes they say the higher you rise, the less work you have to do. It's the people below who actually rough it out and slog. Generals who have never fought a war, sometimes people sitting in their cubicles or in their glass cabins, making somebody run out on the field, not realizing practical difficulties. Again, generals who have never fought a war, how much of it will really demoralize the workforce?
Oh, completely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There are several places where you've got to demonstrate personally. You've got to lead from the front. And you see, I'll tell you what, in this entire thing, what we're talking about, people and process, I think the third enemy that we're talking about is technology. Now, technology, I mean, as they will talk about it, you talk about chips that keep multiplying to a point that you can't really go forward. And technology is changing so fast that it's impossible for any one person to, obviously be on top of the world as far as technology changes.
Would you agree with Dr. Rangarajan? Do I have an email ID?
I'll discuss this after. I mean, his email, because whether it's from his point of view or from the patient point of view, we've got to discuss.
How many of you believe that it's important to not work hard but to work smart? All right, that's an overwhelming show. Only 3 people don't believe that that's the case. But thank you so much for joining us. In fact, they say find a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. But having said that, a lot of us, in fact, almost a consensus emerged here that don't burn the candle at both ends. If you do have a comment to make, please email us feedback@ndtv-hindu.com. From all of us on the ASL Chennai Speaks Out team, thank you for joining us. Once again, we'll see you next week at the same time.